Going live, you're live. Ah, it went live faster than I thought it would. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Where am I looking? Up there. There we go. For a moment, I had to remember which camera I was looking at today. Anyway, yes, hello. Welcome to Two Guys Talk Tech. And by two guys, I mean one guy's talk tech. Anyway, I'm here. Caradog is indeed in Monaco. And I am indeed poor. So it's time for a stream. Hello. Now would be a good time to insert ads. I don't think so. There we go. Right, I'll put that there now. All right. Look at us here in the audience. I can, I will, and I shall. I'm going to arrange windows. It's been a while since I've streamed from this PC, and I'm like, trying to figure out how to arrange things in a way where I can see things nicely, but they're also accessible. I hate the YouTube Studio Live interface so much. It's so incredibly space inefficient. It's impossible to have it as a half window. Like, look at this. Look, like, the problem is, hang on a minute. Let me just see if I can arrange this in a way where I can easily demonstrate it. All right. Let's go to here. So here's Studio. I've popped out the chat. So this just stays here because I've popped out the chat. And so this is just here now. You can't hide this. This just stays here. And so I'm like, okay, well, I want this to take up half a screen. So I'm like, okay, well, let's start dragging it across then. And that's what happens. Like, this just stays here and just covers up all the information you want to see. So you think, okay, well, you know, what if you... And like, if I restore the chat, if I put it back there, then chat just covers all the data that I want to see. You can't have a vertical interface. It's just like, I hate it so much. So yeah. Anyway. Designed by someone who never uses it for real. Yeah. Yes, Greg M. And like, this seems to be the case for so many things. So many things. You use them and you're like, whoever designed this, I don't think they've ever live streamed before. Because if they did, they would probably be like, this isn't helpful. I need information density. And I have, you know, like, the average streamer is running a dual screen setup. And like, no, I do not want YouTube Studio to take up the entirety of my second screen. Right. Anyway. But yes, good afternoon, one and all. Caradog is slacking somewhere. I don't know what Caradog is doing. It's none of my business. So he's in Monaco as far as anyone is concerned. So yeah. I am here alone, and I'm probably going to tinker with some laptops. I've got a couple of laptops to take apart. Nothing terribly exciting, to be honest, but whatever. I'm doing stuff and things. And yeah, that's it. Designed by AI is the Fucha. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, YouTube Studio wasn't, because it's been that way for a very long time, but whatever. I know what he's doing. I'm not sure I want to know, though. I see. A no effort Saturday. More or less. Although, ironically, for the first time ever, the... wow, what is this frame rate? Still got problems with the setup. Doesn't matter. Anyway. Yeah, ironically, for the first time ever, the podcast is now just making more money than the main channel does. So, rip. Seems to be a crispy 30 FPS. Maybe, I don't know. It looked choppy there. It looks more like 24, 20, but whatever. I'm doing the Al Hoot dance, maybe. Anyway. Right. I hope you enjoyed the weekend off. Yes, I was at a LAN party. I had a nice weekend. It was very agreeable. Played lots of friend slop games with friends, and played a bunch of classic games as well. We played Half-Life 2 Deathmatch, gravity guns only. Always funny as hell. So yes. Among other games, of course. So yes. And then, yeah, just this week I've been pottering her along. I'm very interested in my B580 video that I'm working on at the moment, that I'm going to be doing. Well, yeah, I've got to shoot the whole thing, actually. Yeah, I've basically done... I've done most of the script, and I've done the testing, because I've been doing the testing this week. So now I basically just need to just record me reading the script and throw down a bunch of B-roll over the top of everything. So, yeah. Unreal Tournament. Yes, Unreal Tournament also was a thing. Yeah. Although we didn't do a lot of Unreal Tournament, I wish we'd had more time. But the problem is that we put all of the classic fast boomer shooters in at the same time, and like these shooters are old, and half the people there had never played them before, and they were like, "This is nuts! I can't keep up with this." And we're like, "Yeah, that's how these games go, man. You know, this ain't Call of Duty." So, yeah, we didn't play a lot of them because people did, like, 1 or 2 rounds and were like, yeah, no, I'm kind of done with that. That was good fun, but, like, I'm exhausted after 15 minutes of that, you know. So, yes. YouTube stream. Yeah, the stream goes out at 60 FPS, but that camera ain't at 60 FPS, I can tell you that much. It's not set to 60. It should be at 30, but, yeah. I have a suspicion if I try and put it to 60, it might wet the bed, but we'll see. I mean, I guess I could poke the bear and see if it'll go to 60. But yeah. Anyway, while we waffle, I'm going to get an laptop and tinker with it. I've got a another Dell Latitude arrived in the post today, so I'm going to quickly refurbish it while we waffle. What does one have to repair? Yeah. I have. I'll quickly just unbox this first because it's got an address label on it, which is a supplier address, so, like, what do I care, but whatever. I'll go to Benchcam in a sec. I'll just take this out the box. Did it come with a charger? It did! Huzzah! I didn't think that one was coming with a charger. Ugh. Okay. Let's go back to here, and let's get rid of the display capture and go to Benchcam. I did make that. My 3D printer is currently working on that CPU tray holder thing. However, I think I kind of over-engineered it, Si, and it's too big, and the walls are too thick, and the print time on it is like 10 hours, and I'm like, yeah, this probably needs some optimization, but I only need one of them, so, like, I'm not going to optimize it. I'll give you the STL, you can print it if you want, but yeah. At any rate, yeah. It's a CPU fortress, it kind of is, yeah. America the Free, thanks for the $10. Good morning, good morning. Welcome on in. But yeah, I'll show you what I made, Si, just in case you do want to use it. But yeah, opening it in Blender now, I am like, what was I thinking? What was my plan here? So yeah, this is 50mm tall, which is, and I think the actual CPU trays are like 70mm tall. So I was like, oh yeah, it comes up a bit past halfway, that'll do. But I think it's just too tall. But theoretically, the whole tray should just slot into there. But yeah, unfortunately, even though I was like, that's fine, it's just walls, right? I've even cut out the floor to make sure that it didn't have to do an entire floor. But yeah, it's gonna take forever, man. And yeah, I'm also wishing I'd used my crap filament, because it's probably going to use a crap ton of filament, and I should have used the crap stuff I have to get rid of that on a print where it doesn't matter if the quality is poor. So yeah, awesome. So that's that. But yeah, whatever. If you want it, you can have it. So yeah. What kind of printer? I'm still using my Creality Ender 5 S1, which I did the review on. It's kind of out of date these days, and it's not particularly fast. But like, it's kind of a workhorse, and it's still doing what I needed to do. You know, lots of people have been like, sort of, oh, you're going to get a better 3D printer, and I'm like, I mean, if someone gives me a new one to review, sure, but yeah, I'm kind of happy with my Ender 5 S1. It does what it needs to do. Pause it and do a filament swap. Yeah, I tell you, I should have done that earlier on actually, because the filament actually tangled earlier on, and there was a slight interruption. I should have taken that moment to swap the filaments over, but I can't be bothered now. So yeah, right. Please be unsticky. Nah, it's not the worst I've seen. They're all a little bit sort of sticky. I kind of just assume that they all will be these days. So yeah. It's not difficult to deal with though. I think what I care about is just that the keyboard is in good condition. But at any rate, that looks to be okay. Right, let's make sure it's not BIOS locked first. Screen looks nice. Yeah, still it's very grubby, but yeah, the screens on these are very nice. Whenever I compare these to just like any other brand of laptop, I'm just like, holy crap, Dell actually put good screens in these, and modern laptops still use trash. I think this battery is critically discharged. Come on, I want to know if it has a BIOS password on it before I spend the next half hour cleaning it up. Okay, I'm going to carry on drinking my coffee for a minute while I wait for this to put a little bit of charge into it. Let's get the old... oh, I haven't got it installed. I'm going to quickly install the Paul Daniels meter because I haven't got it installed because I reinstalled Windows again. Let's see. Paul Daniels. I need software. Ah. Still using a Bamboo A1 Mini. I mean, the Bamboo A1 Mini is still modern, right? So yeah. Yeah, apart from all of the cloud rubbish, the Bamboo printers are apparently extremely good. But I have no interest in buying one because of all of the cloud rubbish on it. You know, like a lot of people mock the Creality Sonic Pad that I use, but it's all completely locally run, so whatever, I guess. Right, I need the software for my Type-C power meter. OSD software. Wait, this is portable. I don't need to download this again. It should just be sitting on C drive. I just need to actually shortcut it. Bench. PLD USB. There it is. Pin to start. Pulled USB. Haha. Huzzah. Good. Right. We have a Type-C power meter. I will add that to the on-screen display as a special treat. Let's see. Window capture. PLD meter. Select window to capture. That one. Let's put that there. That lined up. Not quite. I should do this numerically. Oh, whatever, that'll do. It's charging. It's doing the thing. LAN party was good. I've already explained that one. Also, hello, Quentin. Thanks for the box of chocolate bars, by the way. Much appreciated. Yeah, that's definitely I will definitely work my way through those. Right. But yes, it is indeed charging. The problem with these things is they need like a certain amount of charge before they'll turn on. And this one is still below that level. Alright, a little bit more coffee. But yeah, so I'm gonna tidy this thing up. And then I've got a HP laptop that needs body swapping. I've got the parts for it somewhere. Oh, they're all on the shelf actually. Yeah, I've got a HP laptop that needs a body swap. So I'll be working on that one as well. I take it the B580 met or exceeded expectations. The B580 has exceeded all my expectations. I think the final boss for it last night was VR chat, and it was great. Didn't have a peep out of it. It was completely fine, and even the performance was well above what I expected. I thought it was going to struggle in VR chat, because VR chat is a fight you don't win. You just have to throw as much horsepower at it as you can. But yeah, it gave me a steady high 40s frame rate, and usually in VR chat I'm aiming for 45 FPS. And that might sound low, but that's VR chat. So but yes, I was expecting it to fall over. There was one person at the meet I was at last night who switched to some avatar that tanked my frame rate. But I was also half a bottle of wine deep in alcohol, so I was just like, oh, that's tanking my frame rate. I'll hide that avatar. And I was like, I should look at the stats for that and try and figure out what's wrong with that avatar that's tanking the frame rate. What is it about that avatar that's upsetting things? And I had a quick look at the stats, and the stats on the avatar were garbage, which is why it was tanking my frame rate. But I couldn't, because I was a little bit inebriated, I was just like, I would have to sit down and spend half an hour comparing numbers to figure out exactly which one of these it is that's killing my frame rate. So instead, I just went, hide avatar. Optimize your shit, people, please. So yeah. Half a bottle of wine for you is properly smashed. I wouldn't say properly smashed. However, I have discovered... I am absolutely going to become a wine mom, though, because I have discovered that half a bottle of red wine is a fun evening for me. I do enjoy it. So yeah. What is VR chat? Am I missing out on something? Yeah, it's a virtual reality chat room. So yeah. Almost no hangover. That's the other reason why I'm kind of switching to wine, is by the end of the evening, I'm just coming down off of my buzz quite well. Whereas every time I drink cider in the evenings, by the end of the evening, I'm a bit sort of, I'm feeling hungover as I'm going to sleep. It's kind of whack. The weird thing is, though, when I have cider here on the podcast, it's not a problem. It's only when I drink it in the evenings. Right, there we go. This thing's starting up now. Going to spam F2 for the BIOS. Okay, good. Right, there is no BIOS password on this one, so it's not being sent back immediately. Battery health is fair, which is code for shot, but I expected that, and I have new batteries. So, cool. Right. Let's take the back cover off of this and clean it all up. It's the chemical impurities in the cider and beer that cause the hangover. I'll take your word for that. I've no idea. Oh, I'm going to get the camera controller open as well. This is a 7420. There we go. Probably the amount of sugar in the drink. I don't know. I like sweet drinks. But yeah, like I said, when I have cider here on the podcast, it's not an issue. You guys know me. That much being said, though, when I have cider on the podcast, I'm drinking on an empty stomach. And normally that would be a bad thing, but just making an observation, that is something that is different. So, BIOS update? Yeah, Windows update will do all of that. We've got Alibats. I've got both. I have got Alibats, but I've got a couple from Amazon as well. I need to order more from AliExpress because I ordered a bunch of them and I've immediately used a bunch of them up. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I should have bought like 10 of those. So I need to order some more. So yeah. Right. Cool. Part of me kind of wants to get it into Windows to actually see what the state of the battery is, because I've not actually looked. But Sai, you know what the things are. What does fair count as? That's like, fair is like 50 to 60% or something garbage like that, isn't it? Bulk discount, business discount for bulk. You bought 10 the other day. Yeah, fair enough. with new Dell, you can do exe and USB. Yeah, or you can just run Windows Update, and Windows Update does it all for you. So yeah. Right, let's get this battery out. Speakers have got a bunch of filings on them as well, which seems to be normal for these. Do these have... Yeah, I saw... I can't remember what brand it was, but I was working on a laptop the other day, and it just had a really nice fine mesh across the speakers, and it just meant that the speakers didn't get clogged up with just guff. And I'm like, this is good. More brands should do this. It wasn't anything special. It was like an Acer or something like that. It's going to be sub 30 watt hour, so yeah, less than 50%, yeah. Because that's the thing as well, is just like the number of watt hours remaining, I don't think that that's representative when it comes to battery health. You know, it says, because like if you've got, say, a 63 watt hour battery and it's down at 50%, that's 30 watt hours. And like, that's not a lot of battery power, but that's still a decent chunk of capacity. But when you actually run the laptop on that, it doesn't feel like 30 watt hours, because it just feels like the battery just tanks because it's in poor condition. So yeah, I don't trust. Let's get rid of you because we don't need you right now. So yeah, even yeah, for me, just the percentage is what matters, and if it's below 80%, it's crap, basically. We need the cable from it. Windows Update covers what? BIOS updates. Yeah, for modern laptops like this, you don't have to do BIOS updates over USB. You just run Windows Update and it'll do it for you. The image, the Windows image that I flashed to these, because it has all of the Windows updates downloaded already, when I flash the Windows image onto this SSD and boot the laptop, it will actually just do the BIOS update. So like, I don't even have to wait for Windows Update to do it. It will just do it for me automatically. Right, that fan is not as bad as it looks. I'll just give that a quick brush. There's the toothbrush. I need to get one of those little whizzy fans, the little handheld battery ones that just go blah, just so I can go psh, and it's done. Oops. And yes, we are expecting the thermal cement, where just this CPU cooler is just, well, yeah, cemented down. Oh, and also related to this topic as well, when I was doing one of these the other day, in fact, I think it was just on the last podcast. Yeah, it was on the last podcast 2 weeks ago when Caradog was here. I was doing a keyboard swap. Yeah, and it turned out not to be the keyboard. I changed the trackpad, and the keyboard controller is actually on the trackpad. So I swapped the trackpad out, and it was fine. So we got away with that as well. You disable capsule updates in BIOS and no Win Update BIOS. Cool. That just means that it'll never get a BIOS update. How many gigs of RAM? These are 16 gig ones. They come into the two common varieties are 8 and 16. Because the RAM is soldered on with these laptops, I always get the 16 gig versions. You can get away with 8 these days, but 8 is the minimum spec, so you don't really want to be selling a laptop with 8 gigs anymore. Right, let's just give that a little bit of a pry. Ah, there it goes. More screws. There. And yes. Thermal cement. Bone dry. Weird dry spot in the middle there as well. You see that dark spot there? Odd. I wonder if that's a hot spot where it's actually been particularly cooking. So yes. Yeah, thermal paste is always completely dry on these. It's standard fare. Now I have to spend a whole world of trouble trying to chip it all off. It's not the worst I've seen. Some of these, it's literally cement. And on some of them, you literally have to soak it in alcohol for about 5 or 10 minutes, and just over a couple of soak it in alcohol, wipe it down, soak it again, wipe it down, rinse and repeat. At the moment, I'm just using the back of this is a plastic prying tool, which is why I'm able to scrape away at the die. And yeah, I'm just scraping all of the muck off. I get the worst off and then I wipe it down. That'll do. And let's get you as well. I always do it dry first, because while it's dry you can just brush it all away. As soon as you actually get any of it wet, now you have a muck that has to be wiped up. Right, I need that, and I need my kitchen towel, which is over here. Let's see. The 8GB ones have worse Intel graphics because the single channel disables the fancy Intel stuff. Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah. Yeah. These things have Intel, what is it, Iris Xe graphics. But if the memory is in single channel mode, which it will be on the 8GB models, then a bunch of features of the integrated graphics don't switch on. So yeah. Okay, right. Drown all of this. Yeah, 3 more weeks of work and then jobless. Oh, that sucks. Yeah. What's up with that? Just company downsizing or something? Severance. Yeah. I mean, in the tech support space, I feel like there's always people looking. There we go. It's one of the reasons why, like, I don't think you'll get rich in the tech support space, but I think you'll always have a job. Because, like, whether the economy is booming or busting, people have computers and computers are breaking. So I'm going to quickly get this flash drive. I'm going to get this SSD imaging while I do the rest of this. Wake up! Restore complete disk. I need to get back in the habit of having. Am I audible from over here? Yeah, I think so. I need to get back in the habit of having an SSD already imaged over here. So that way, I would just start this one imaging, then just pick up one that's already done and walk back to the bench. You onto G-Micron generic. Where's it getting that from? Weird. Oh, I know what that is. That's another job that I forgot to do. There was another drive connected to the data machine, and I was like, wait, what is that drive? I don't recognize that one, but it's just an external hard drive that's still plugged in. Okay. Ba-da-ba. Right, scanning through the thing. Good. Put a link to the Discord to the Wizzy fan you've got. Fair, yeah. Yeah, just one of the AliExpress ones, that's fair. Oh yeah, that's pretty much the kind of thing that I was expecting. Upgraded power display. Oh, it's got a variable speed knob on it. That's kind of useful, actually. Just so you can actually dial it back if you want to be gentle on things. Yeah, 20 quid right now. Damn. Yeah, I'll probably pick one of those up later. Whoop. Right, just sort out all of my windows. There we go. Right. Why is there a face on the ribbon cable near the mouse pad? Do you mean this one here? Because, yeah, I can see it's kind of got eyes and a blobby mouth. It goes, nah, but not really. Loads more coupons again. Maybe. That's on 11/11. When is that? That's Monday, isn't it? The 11th? Tuesday. Fair enough. Yeah, maybe I'll have a look. It is indeed the NFC. Okay, right. Focus. Thermal paste. We're Caradog gone. Yep, he's away. He's away for the next 2 weeks, actually, I think. Yeah, like, I'll have to double check with him, but I have a suspicion he's not about next week either. So, yeah, RAM prices have rocketed. They surely have. I wish all AI data centers a very hope your bubble pops as soon as possible. Does anyone actually know the source of this? I'd heard that OpenAI were building a huge new AI data center, and they're the ones buying up like 60% of the world DRAM supply or something like that. I'd heard that it was their fault, but I don't have a source on that. Does anyone know if that's correct? Or is that bollocks and it's just, yeah, just rare earth stuff? It's a combination, yeah. Yeah. Hopefully it'll drop down again. But yeah, it does suck because of how much it's changed. Because like on a new build, it's like, I mean, yeah, it's nearly a £100 swing by the looks of things. You know, like you used to be able to get a 32 gig DDR5 kit for, you know, call it £90. You know, I think £90 is a reasonable going rate estimate. You might find a better deal than that, but £90 is a reasonable expectation. Now we're up to like 160, I think, and I could see it going up a bit more before it comes down again. So yeah, that kind of sucks if you're building a PC. That's a pretty big, that's a 10% hike on the cost of the PC. Yeah. Causes shortages, they make more than needed, and then price goes way down. Yeah, that might happen, but the problem is that if the shortage is down to rare earths and such, that's material supply. So they can't just increase manufacturing because it's an actual material issue. So yeah. Bri, thanks for the tenner. Sorry to hear YouTube messing me around. Yeah. Still salty about that, but I'll get over it. However, appreciate the tenner. Much appreciated. Many thanks. Sai says, I spoke to a customer today and had to say the £800 computer we'd spoken about on the phone would now be closer to 900. Yeah, that sucks because like now you feel like the arsehole because you know you're having to say to them, you know, this isn't me trying to FOMO you. This is just because one of the component prices is just spiraling right now. So yeah, they can mine more. Sort of. Rare earth minerals are kind of problematic right now. Like everyone is trying to find more sources of them, and in addition to that, like it's a shortage, but also allowing for the pipeline of, you know, like from the mine to chips. That's a long production cycle. So you know, like they don't mine that stuff and ship it overnight to the chip fabrication factories, you know. So yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, you're right. It will come back down again, but yeah, it's a bit sucky right now. Oh, that's the wrong screw. Yeah, I'm very glad that I bought RAM just in time. So the 3 computers I've got on my bench that I'm slowly building up, those are going to be normally priced. But yeah, the next ones that come after that will be big. And, you know, I'm just like, what do I sell those RAM kits for? You know, like, do I charge a little bit extra for those? You know, is it my advantage that I got them just before the prices skyrocketed? Yeah, I don't know. It feels a bit weird to charge the current retail price just because I was opportunistic with my buying moment. But yeah. Got to charge what you can replace them for. Yeah, I think that's a valid way of looking at it. Charge half the price increase difference. Yeah, that was the other thing I was thinking, is just going halfway. Why did I remove those screws? They didn't need to come off. You'll have to replace them. And yeah, the next ones after that will just be more expensive. But yeah, we'll see. I might play it by ear. Like, the fact that I've got... what I might do is charge the current value of the RAM kits. However, the fact that I know I got them cheaper than that gives me some leeway in the pricing of the computer. You know, if I've got a tricky customer where certain customers, you kind of want to give them a little to seal the deal, you know. And knowing I've got a little bit of give in the cost price of the PC means I can be like, you know what, I can do it a little bit cheaper if you buy it today, you know, because I know I've got a little bit of movement in that. So yeah, that might be what I end up doing. Right, I am going to grab a replacement battery. And the SSD is done. Amazon's got tons of stock, but they still put the price up immediately. Ah, yeah, that's brutal, isn't it? Yeah. Someone gets to make a bunch of money on it, don't they? Yeah. I think it'll depend. I mean, one of the computers I had already done a baseline quote for just before the prices skyrocketed, so I'll honor that price because I can. Although that much being said, that's assuming that they get back to me this week, I think, because I knew they were going to be away for a week. But if they don't get back to me this week, which is when we agreed that the decision would be made, after that, I'm going to be like, yeah, no, the price isn't valid anymore. Cost prices have now shifted. You snoozed, and thus you have now lost. If we'd done it when we said we were going to do it, then I'd have honoured the price. That onto there. That one looks familiar, maybe the plastic trim. All of these, they only just fit in, but they do fit in. But the tolerances on these batteries are not great. The first one I fitted, I did think I was going to have to trim it a bit. I was like, oh, these are the ones that Sai was talking about. But yeah, with a little bit of jiggery pokery, they go in. So hasn't seemed to have been a problem. And battery. Right, everything is plugged in. Everything is present correct. I'm going to very confidently just put the back cover on and send it. What kind of drive is that? It looks like it's in two pieces. So that SSD, it is a 40mm SSD, like this one. It's an NVMe drive, but instead of being 80mm, it's 40. And it has a little plastic extension on it to make it fit a 80mm bay. So that's why it looked like a weird two-piece drive. They're very common in OEM laptops because they're cheap. But because these are only 250 gig SSDs, they're just tiny little things. Oh, 30, yeah. Cool, right. Make sure this boots up, and then I will give it a good old wipe down. It is booting. Got to wait for it to post first. These things take ages to RAM train. Does secure arrays exist on B450 by MSI? Because you can't find it. I'm not sure. Some motherboards seem to have it and some don't. So yeah, I don't know the answer to that one. Hurry up! Power cycling. Power's back on. There we go. And are you going to do the BIOS update now, or are you going to do it on the next reboot? Our survey says... Time of day not set. I don't care. We're rebooting again. I hate how long these things take to get through post when they've had a BIOS reset. All of this faff. Okay, right. There's the Windows spinner. Of course, there's always the non-zero chance that it's already been BIOS updated. implying that the sellers actually did anything at all with it. Yeah, these laptops don't have a CMOS battery. They just use the main battery, which I don't have a problem with personally. HP have been doing that for a long time, and I don't think it's a problem. It's a slight pain in the ass because it means it BIOS resets if the main battery is disconnected. But also, though, it means that you never have to worry about the CMOS battery going flat. So, yeah, I kind of think that's fine. There's the BIOS update. Fully tested refurbished device. Yeah. Half the ones you buy, they don't even put Windows on them anymore. Like, it's just like, I mean, I know I'm going to erase it when I get it anyway, so I don't care about it not having Windows, but it's extremely funny how they call them refurbished, and basically all they've done is just erase it, and that's it. Did they clean the screen? I have not cleaned the screen yet, no. I'm going to give it a clean in a minute. I'm going to wait for it to do the firmware update. Once it gets to Windows, I'll do a clean shutdown on it. Then I'm going to wipe it down. So I think I'm going to go and wet my cloth now. And I'm going to top up my water as well. Wet my cloth sounds like some kind of euphemism. The thought occurred to me as I was walking away. Like, I don't know what it would be a euphemism for, but it does sound like some kind of euphemism. Erase and put a warranty sticker on it. Yeah, another one that I've got on the bench over there had a warranty sticker on it. And I was just like, yeah, just immediately removing that. Oh, hello, Pianov. It's an issue because it reverts AHCI to rapid storage technology when the battery is flat. Yeah, that is extremely annoying. I try to make a point of updating. I think this Windows image I've got, I think I did it. I think I did the Windows install on AHCI, and I tried, and I need to update the image to be RST, because it's possible that after it's done with the firmware update and everything, and it tries to boot into Windows, it'll throw a hissy fit. Oh, I forgot to do a BIOS reset on it anyway. Yeah, either way, I will make sure that it's on RST and update Windows to be in RST mode, as just in case of that, because this has been a problem on some of these Dells that I've sold before, where, yeah, the batteries run down stone dead, and it has not been able to boot on the default BIOS setups, which is very annoying. Do you change the SID in Windows after restoring the image? No, I don't bother personally. Surely data erasure is a good thing, but it should come with at least a basic non-activated copy. I mean, the Windows that it comes with would activate anyway because the motherboard is licensed. But yeah. I mean, I don't need it to come with Windows on it because, like as we said, I'm going to erase it again anyway. But it is just it's a sign of how little effort they actually go to while still calling them refurbished. But yeah, Might be possible to change the defaults in BIOS. I mean, you can, but also you could just change your Windows image to be RST. Because all of these run RST anyway, so why wouldn't you, you know? I like them to function out of the box, even though I'm stripping it. Yeah. If nothing else, it's just a confidence test, because like when we open these up, as you saw me do, the first thing that you kind of want to do is just open the laptop, power it on, see it go into Windows to go, cool, this laptop actually works. Because if it doesn't, then there is a non-zero chance that you're just going to immediately close it, put it back in the box, and send it back. Although, generally speaking, for me, the only thing that I will majorly send it back for is just if it has a BIOS password, because anything else is almost certainly solvable anyway. So, yeah. A pox on Intel's RST. I hate it. Yeah, I'm not a fan, but defaults are defaults. And if the laptop is going to default to RST, then I will set it up for that, you know. I don't bother installing the software or anything. I'll just let it use whatever it is wanting to use. So yeah, this is a laptop to sell in shop. Although to be honest, I always have a running list of interested customers. I've always got a list with at least sort of 2 or 3 names on it of customers who have expressed an interest in a reconditioned laptop. So like even though I've got 2 of these in now. These are basically already pre-sold because I've got a list of people who I'm going to call and be like, yeah, I've got stock of laptops. Come and have a look. And, you know, one of them is going to take it. So, yeah. Yeah. RST causes issues with Linux. Oh, interesting. Fair. Had one the other day with a big dark area on the screen. Huh. Whack. Yeah. Hello, Floor Lamp. How goes? Good. Right. This is booted up. Who is this strange man with beard? Oh, Runtgens. Okay, fair enough. It's the man. Apparently it's probably the birthday of the guy who discovered X-rays. Very well. Okay. Right, this thing is good. I'm going to shut it down and give this thing a clean. There'll be some Windows updates and stuff like that to do. Control Volt firmware upgrade. Oh, my days. All right, I'll give it a little bit longer. There'll be some Windows updates to do since I last actually did this Windows image, but I usually wait until I've spoken to the customer because, like, at least 50% of my customers then want a data transfer of their old laptop to the reconditioned one, which means I'm going to immediately overwrite this again anyway. The only reason why I've bothered putting the Windows image on is that A, it means that I have made sure that the laptop is actually erased, and B, it means if someone does want to buy the laptop clean, all I basically have to do is just run Windows Update on it, and it's essentially ready to go because I've already done my usual customizations to it. So yeah. People say the man who invented X-rays was fake and said you can see right through him. Ah! Right. Is it done with whatever it wants to do? Sudden background change. Looks like 11. Yes. It should go without saying that you should be selling laptops with Windows 11 on in the year of November 2025. Because no, I do not sell laptops with an unsupported version of Windows on them. Deliberately inflammatory comment that's also not really inflammatory. Alright. Did they alter the taskbar again? No, I've customized it slightly. Like I left align the taskbar because I think the center aligned taskbar is stupid. And while I try to do minimal amounts of customization, I think a lot of people who are transitioning from Windows 10, I'm trying to make the transition reasonably seamless. And so just having the start menu in the same location that they're expecting it to be in, I think that's reasonable, personally. Right. I've got to give this a good old scrub now just to get off the weird sticky coating that develops on the soft touch plastic. I always feel like I'm brutalizing these, but this is what you've got to do to make them come up clean. Right, let's see if that's enough. It's not, because the fluff is sticking to the right-hand side. That's kind of my acid test, is I dry it with a towel afterwards, and you can see where the towel is leaving fluff behind, where the surface is still sticky. Warm water, then glass cleaner, then Mr. Sheet. Yes. I mean, I don't do that whole three-step process. I just do water and then dry. I find as soon as you start using glass cleaner on soft touch, it just ruins it again. So I just use water for soft touch. Right. I'm getting up so I can put some elbow grease into it. This one didn't feel too bad when we got it out the box, but I think it's a little bit deceptive, this one. Or because I was sitting down, I just wasn't putting elbow grease into it. Feels like I'm brutalizing it on camera, but trust me, this works. Okay, better. Just a little bit down here now, and then it's done. It's not glue, Mark. It's deterioration of the soft touch plastic, and yeah, IPA will make it worse. If we were removing stickiness from like stickers, then yes, you'd use IPA to get that off. However, we're trying to remove a deterioration of the soft touch plastic, and that just water. Just plain old water. All right. How about now? There we go, that's better. Just quickly go down the middle here because there's just grime in the center sections of the keyboard. This cloth is a little bit too wet to do the keyboard with, but it'll be all right. Yep, yeah. Right, now I'll do the screen. Get a different cloth. And I will use glass cleaner for the screen. Whoop. What model is it? This is a Latitude 7420, which is the current sort of best bang for buck reconditioned model. They have 11th gen i5s or 11th gen i7s in them, depending on what's about at the time. Sometimes they have touch screens, sometimes they don't. Most of them have the Windows Hello camera, which is nice. I don't super care what optional extras they have, but, you know, when they have these features, it's just nice. There we go. Beautiful. I had one of these come back in the other day. Customer had it for about a week, and they come back in to ask some questions about it, and they put a little plastic stick-on shutter over the webcam. And I was like, sir, I hate to point this out, but it already has a shutter on it. You don't have to put another shutter over the top. It's already got one. And they're like, oh, I didn't see that. And then I had another customer who called after picking one of these up after a day or two, who complained that the webcam wasn't working. And I said to them, just checking the obvious, but have you opened the shutter on the webcam? And they're like, no, I don't think it has a webcam. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it does, madam. Like, at the top of the screen, you'll see a little circle, a little camera lens. That's the webcam. There's a little shutter. There's a little sliding shutter. You just need to make sure that's open. And she goes, no, I can't see that at all. And I'm like, okay, you'll need to bring it back in for me to have a look in that case, because I'm not sure why that's not working. I get a call an hour later, and she says, I've opened the shutter on the webcam. It's now working. Thank you. Goodbye. So, so yeah, you always ask to see if they see a red spot. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think I might have to just supply them with the shutter open, because I always leave the shutter closed, because I'm like, why wouldn't you? Like, that's what it's there for. You just always leave the shutter closed unless you're using it. However, I think I'm going to have to just leave it open by default to stop this happening. So yeah. The thing that annoyed me the most recently was I had a HP, and I think I can't remember if it was an Omen or an Envy. I think it was a HP Envy. It was an expensive HP, a nice one. And the expensive HPs now, they have electronic shutter covers. So the webcam, it has a physical shutter on it, but that physical shutter is electronically operated with a software button on the keyboard. And I'm like, you idiots! That's why we put physical shutters on them. Because if there is a button, then it can be overridden. You absolute buffoons! You know, you've made this really fancy electronic magnetic shutter where you push a button and a physical shutter magnets across, which looks cool as hell, but because there is a software button to control it, you no longer have manual control of it. This was the point of the physical shutter, because you could software turn on the cameras. It's just, Ow, my brain. Right, the top of this is actually in pretty good shape, so I'm not going to labour this. Just going to give that just a quick wipe down, and then we're done with this, and I'm going to move on to the HP. Yeah, all things considered, this one's actually in pretty good shape. I'm quite happy with this one. Which is weird, because the sellers for these, most of these ones that I've been buying, the description on them has listed them as C grade. Like, not B grade, just C grade, which sounds pretty bad, but, you know, I'm looking at this, I'm like, I wouldn't call that a C. Like, sure, it's got marks on it, it's a used laptop, you know, like, we've got, you know, that's a scratch, that ain't coming out, but, like, that's fine, man. I'd call that a B, personally, but whatever. Anyway. It's probably not software implemented. It's probably just the EC controlling that shutter. Doesn't make it much better, though. Yeah. That's the problem. Like, could you write software that could tap into the EC's control of the shutter? You know, like, that sounds pretty far-fetched, but if the prize is getting nudes of celebrities, then that seems like something that someone would go to the effort of doing. You know. Much harder than software control. Yeah, I will concede that it sounds like a very difficult job, but then also like turning on a webcam without user interaction is also quite difficult to do. I mean, well, no, that's not true actually. You just need to send them malware, but yeah. I don't know. Saw an interview with Zuckerberg years ago. He had gaffer tape on his laptop camera. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, when people say, "Oh, do I need a shutter on my webcam?" I say, "Are you a celebrity?" And they say, "No." I'm like, then no, you don't. No one is hacking into your webcam. You know, they're hacking into Britney Spears' webcam. They're not hacking into your webcam. You know, so yeah. Threat profile, people. Threat profile. Your threat profile is this big. You know, if you're a celebrity or a famous person or an industry specialist, your threat profile is this big. Now we can talk about paranoia, you know. So yeah. However, also though, like physical shutters like this are so cheap to implement, I don't understand why any webcam is made without just a little sliding shutter like that. And I think just all webcams should have that because it's less than pennies to implement. Why wouldn't you put it on there? Because that just settles the argument, you know. So yeah. Right. That thing is done. I'm going to start working on this HP laptop. Rearrange all of my cloths. Behold, a depressing laptop. Ugh. In before that one guy in the YouTube comments the other day hacks your shutter. No! How much do you sell them for, and do you sell a lot of them? Yeah, I usually aim to put about £100 markup on them at least. So I'm usually aiming to sell at around about 300. That's after expenses, because you buy them, but a lot of the time you have to put a new battery in them, and a lot of them at the moment don't come with chargers either. So you're probably going to have to spend 20 quid on a battery and 20 quid on a charger and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm usually aiming for about 300. Yes, I do sell a lot of them. I sell them as fast as I can get them in. That much being said, I only buy them in sort of 2s and 3s at a time. But I think at some point I'm going to have to stock up and just and actually just like buy 8 at a time. But it depends on what's available, because sometimes you'll scroll through eBay with the intention of dropping £1,000 on secondhand laptops, and you'll just be scrolling through them and you'll be like, these are all bad, these all look terrible, they've all got wrecked keyboards or just some other visible problem with them. So yeah. But yes. You can get them for about £3 camera shutters. Yeah, I've got a little packet of them. So I sometimes, if a customer laptop comes in with just like a horrible bit of gaffer tape over the camera, I'll take that off and actually put a proper little plastic stick-on shutter on it, because it's just a nice thing that you can do for people who worry about that. Is there any way to fix a loud laptop fan? You replaced the thermal paste and dusted it out, but it's still pretty audible. I mean, is it a whoosh or like a broken fan? But some laptops, a lot of laptops just have noisy fans these days. They just run the temperatures too high and too hard. So yeah, I don't think you can actually make them quiet by my definition of quiet. Right, I'm just going to get some extra parts as well. Time spent looking through eBay would annoy me way too much. You prefer selling new machines? Yeah, maybe, we'll see. There's not, it's about finding new machines that I like as well, you know, because like I did go through a period of just reselling Dell Inspirons, but the problem is I didn't have any faith in those to not have hinges made of cheese. And hey ho, out of the ones I've had a couple of them that have come back in within warranty period with broken hinges. So I'm just like, not going to sell these anymore. because they're going to break. And I'm going to have to deal with that. Even if it's a matter of just like, it's under warranty, send it back to Dell. That's still something that I have to deal with. It's still time out of my day. But so it's a case of finding something that is affordable but not crap. But also, you know, Sai and I have been talking about Spire coming under new ownership, and we might be seeing some interesting laptop options from them, maybe. So we'll see. So yeah, we'll see how that goes as well. Right, what am I actually doing to this laptop? I've got some parts to go in it. Right, we've got a new battery for it, and we've got a new palm rest. I say a new palm rest. This is a used palm rest. But yeah, it needs a new keyboard, and it's a heat-staked keyboard, so I'm just like, lol, we're replacing the palm rest. This one is the wrong color, but I couldn't get a blue one at the time, so I agreed with the customer that we were going to replace it with a black one, and they were like, I do not care what color the laptop is. So I was like, cool, okay, you're getting a black one then. Because, yeah, bugger doing heat-staked keyboards. Right, so I need to gut this out. So let's start doing that. Right, let's go. Not just broken, just loud. Does feel pretty hot when you feel the air. Yeah, that's it. They boost laptop chips really hard now, and just laptop CPUs they're looking for 100 degrees. So unfortunately, you've just got to run the fan really high to keep that in check. Because they are aiming to run at the red line, you have to run the cooling system at the red line as well. So you just end up with the fan running at 100%, which kind of sucks balls. I do not like it. I don't like modern laptops, man. Yeah, kind of sucks. It depresses me to say it, but the MacBook Air is probably one of the only laptops that I actually kind of like. The MacBook Air M1 is a great laptop. That's the last one that I actually took on holiday with me and was like, this is fantastic, you know. So yeah. Black cheese to replace blue cheese, real. Yeah. This one doesn't have broken hinges, but, you know, give it time. I'm not taking this apart in any particular order because I'm not concentrating very much. Oh, look at that, a single antenna solution. Thanks, HP. Imagine a modern laptop with a single Wi-Fi antenna. What a joke. Right. Is that going to come off with? That will. And yes, it is blessed to have 2 RAM modules. It has 8 gigs of RAM in it at the moment, so, you know, minimum requirements. I'd much rather have a thicker laptop with more USB and better cooling. Big same. Yeah, it's the same as with phones, man. Like, for the most part, no one asked people to make laptops impossibly thin. I get making them light. You know, light laptops good, but they don't need to be impossibly thin. Make them a bit thicker, give them better cooling, give them more structural rigidity so they're actually tough enough to survive. So yeah. And yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a fan of Apple products, but the MacBook Air M1 at the very least is a really nice laptop. Right. What is this? Is this a speaker? Yeah. Why are you not coming out? Oh, you're the wire for that goes under there. Okay, fine. Be gone. They don't even need to be thicker, just use the empty space. Real, yeah, that is also true. Like, yeah, We have room for more cooling here. I mean, also, like, this HP isn't too bad. Like, sure, it's mega thin, but, like, you've got a lot of area for the fan to hit there. Like, it's only hitting up to there. You know, this bit is the end of the heat pipe doesn't get cooled, but you have a fairly long bit of radiator. The fin stack is fairly long, but yeah, also though, it's just so thin. It's long, but there's no thermal mass there. Yeah. All terrible. All terrible. Okay, right. That fan's coming out. Beats a HP stream. Yeah. They still make HP streams, or has that brand finally died? Right. Anyone else? Another speaker up there. Anyone else plugged in? No. Good. Right. We're ready for motherboard out. I thought this was a HP stream. Nah, it's a Pavilion. Rare 17-inch. You coming out? Nope, I missed one. I see. Right, no liquid damage in the back, no explosions. The reason why this already had the back cover off when it came in was because the customer brought it in a large shopper bag in the rain. And the back of the laptop was just dripping. Like, as soon as it came in, she took it out. I was like, oh. And immediately I was like, cloth, wipe, just sweep all of the water off of the back. And I had to take the back cover off immediately and just dry the back of the motherboard. And I was just like, ugh. And she was just like, oh, yeah, whoops. I'm like, no, not whoops. That's how you kill your laptop, madam. You know, what the hell are you doing? What were you thinking? What was your plan? And like, this is the problem, man. This is what we're facing, is people just, they forget. They just like, oh, what do you mean that carrying my laptop around in the rain kills my laptop? Lack of common sense. Yeah, I hate to say it, but that is the case. It's yeah, I always feel like such a boomer when I complain about, you know, people and common sense and all that, but it's a major issue. People just don't think, you know. And I think some of this is just conditioning because, you know, these days all your mobile phones are waterproof now. You don't need to worry about your phone getting wet. So a lot of people just kind of forget that not everything is waterproof. I need to change where I'm putting things now because I'm piling everything up on top of the part that I'm actually intending to fit. We need that. Come on, DC Jack. Get out. Right, anything else here? We need the trackpad. I've never seen a waterproof phone. Okay, water resistance. You know what I mean. They're pretty resistant to, like, rain, you know. Weather resistant. Obviously, if you fall in the ocean with your phone, then, yeah, you're kind of in trouble there. But, yeah. The people who fold the stapled invoice in their screen before they leave kills me. Oh, man. I would not staple invoices for that exact reason. Oh, that's going to be blue, isn't it? Alright, this is going to be funky two-tone, but whatever. Alright, do we have everything? That's all the fittings out. Do we need... No, we've got that plastic bit. Let's do a confidence check. That's going to bend back like that. That's fine. That is some packing. I guess that just sticks down. Not quite sure why that exists, but okay. And our screw holes all line up, so I'm not going to get any unpleasant surprises. Good. All right. Delicious. Now let's put it all back together again. Whoop. Reading chat. Many phones are water resistant, not proof. Yeah, okay, but I know there's a difference between water resistant and waterproof, but y'all know what I mean. However, Floorlamp says last year in Poland on a festival, 3 phones in the group they were in died of rain. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I guess it depends. If it's going to be in the rain for an extended period of time, sure. But like, if it gets a bit damp walking back from your car and then comes into a warm environment, it'll be okay. But yeah, there's limits. There's limits. Plastic bit was covering a wire. Okay, I'll probably have to reshuffle that in a minute. I've already forgotten most of the order that I took this apart in because I'm not really paying attention. We'll figure it out though. I'll put bits in and then have to take them back out and then put them back in again. And if we were going for time efficiency, that would be atrocious, but like, it's fine. I'm not on the clock. If it takes me 5 minutes longer, I'm okay with that. Surprised you changed the whole palm rest. Yeah, oh yeah, no, heat-staked keyboards, hell, I hate all of it. And yeah, I mean, saving like £6, it generally saves a bit more than that. You know, I often find palm rests can be like twice the price of a keyboard at least. But replacing a heat-staked keyboard, you never really get a good finish. You know, you always get a good enough finish. It's never factory, and it's a horrible job that takes forever, and I hate doing it, and I'm just like, no, just change the palm rest. Because now instead of a nightmare job that takes me 2 hours of miserable cutting of posts and then remelting of posts, now I've got an easy job that a work experience kid could do that I can do without even paying attention to it while I'm talking to you guys. You know, I know which I'd rather be doing. Speakers. Right, are you going to go in? No, I've got to take that back out again. I thought so. I do occasionally do heat-staked keyboards because sometimes you just get caught out and you just find yourself committed to it. But I will avoid it at all costs. Right, what's going on with this thing? Okay, I have done all of this in a terrible order. I should have put the speakers in first. All right. Also, why aren't you sticking down? There we go. Right. That goes in there. Ooh! This DC jack is testing me with not wanting to click in. Am I still on shot? Yeah, just enough. There we go. That is a surprisingly Tetris layout, that one. Right, let's pick you back up and just tuck that underneath. Good enough. I'd only do it if the palm rest is super expensive. Yeah, like some laptops you'll look around and you can get a replacement keyboard for £20 or a palm rest for £120. And at that point, I'm like, you know what? I'll do the heat-staked keyboard because then I can charge extra labor and still do it for a cheaper price to the customer. But yeah, it's got to be a pretty stark difference. Time went home. All right, see you soon, Si. Right, that goes in. All right, anyone trapped under? That looks fine. Fan that corner. You're watching from the Canadian Rockies. I see. The general vicinity of? Or like, are you up a mountain? Oh, that goes there. I was having a mental breakdown at the for a moment there where I was just like, where does that DC jack plug in? Goes there. At least the laptop has RAM slots. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have, but I'm still in two minds about it. Cam will save us all. Cam will save us all because, you know, DIMM slots as they currently are, they're at their limits. We can't get any more speed out of them to match the modern speed of DDR5. But also, and soldered on RAM, if you've got enough RAM, if you spec the laptop with enough RAM to see it through its lifetime, like right now, a laptop with 16 gigs of RAM is going to last its lifetime, in my opinion. That's going to be fine. But also, faulty RAM is a thing and does exist. So I kind of want the ability to change the RAM if it's faulty because it's uncommon, but it does happen. So yeah, Wi-Fi antenna. I haven't put the screen back on yet. Screen's going on in a sec. I'm just putting some extra bits and pieces in. I think the screen is now actually. Yeah. Right. New plug-in RAM looks amazing though. Yeah. Yeah, I think Cam is the answer. Oh, let's just screw that fan in. But the problem is that Cam is Dell's design, and I think what we need is for Dell to be bros and just like I don't want to say open source, but just like make it royalty free or something like that. They need to just say, you know, look, we have solved this problem. This is our gift to the community. Right. Right, this guy now needs to go on a magical adventure. I'm going to wish I'd done this before I put everything back in. But I think I can fit it in. Oops. delivery guy with a package for next door. Which I shall allow because my neighbours take my packages now and then. Oh, am I going to have to bloody take this out again? No, there we go. Okay, it's going in. It's going in. We're fine. Good. Tweezers. Ba-da-ba-da. Paul only antenna. Yeah. There we go. Right, that's done. Display cable. All right. Now just make sure that guy's sitting down. And... Cam is Dell. I instantly hate it. Yeah, but it's good. The no one has, to my knowledge, right now the options are cam or soldered RAM. I'm not aware of anyone who's come up with another solution. So, like, out of the two of those, it is a bit of a lesser of the evils, but yeah. This is a repair job, Def Gamer. Right. That has one new keyboard. And I will now put in a new battery. Where did I put the battery? It's in the bag. Tiny battery. No cider tonight? Nah. Probably not anyway. Yeah. I don't think at this point, no. I don't think this is going to be a terribly long stream, if I'm honest. Not because I've got anywhere to be, but just because, you know, I kind of want to get the podcasts down to 2 hours again anyway. But it just so happens that just a lot of the time, based on just stuff we're doing, we just end up running to 3 hours. Is that right? Oh, ass. The battery doesn't fit. Oh, that sucks balls. It's the same size, but the tabs are all in the wrong place. I bought this battery like a couple of weeks ago. These parts have actually been sitting around waiting for the customer to bring the laptop in. That could probably be made to fit, but it's an Amazon battery, so I'll just send it back. It's within, I think it's still within the return window. So, okay, we'll come back to that. I'll stick this one back in for now, just so we can confirm the laptop works, and I'll have to change that out. We could probably butcher it in, because like the original battery has got tabs that don't go to places as well. You know, I've only got to get a couple of the screws to line up. Like, this is kind of a joke, really. Yeah, let's have a second look at that. Like, can I do crime here? Can we do crime? Cut off the tabs and glue the battery. Yeah, let me just see if I can do crime. That's sitting too high up. So we'd have to lose this tab completely. So there'd be no screw on the actual connector. There's nothing there. No. Nothing. We've got one hole that lines up for the entire battery, and there'd be nothing to actually hold the connector in place. That's not going to cut it. Yeah. I don't really want to Tessa tape it in because like there's no big flat surfaces. There under certain circumstances I would do crime and make good. But there's like we've got one screw and no flat surfaces to tape it down, and the connector will just have nothing holding it down. That's not good enough. So yeah. That's annoying. Yeah. That's really annoying because when I ordered the battery, yeah. Usually when I order batteries, I'm very careful about that. It's possible though, because I didn't have the I probably ordered the battery just based on laptop model number alone, and I've just been caught out. But again though, it's an Amazon battery, so I just send it back. No loss. Right. I'll put this back on for now. I'm not going to put all the screws in the back of the laptop quite yet because that's going to come back off again. However, we can at least just make sure that the thing works. There we go. You know, I think two-tone looks kind of funky. Now and then you end up doing this, and I think it looks kind of cool. But yeah. Right. Ugh, I'm just going to grab a charger. I have something bigger than 45 watts. Not that I think it needs it, but... No, I cannot. Oh. I don't know where my big HP charger has gone, but I can't see well. This is probably a 45 watt laptop anyway, despite its being 17 inch. Let's see. Yeah, input 19.5 volts, 2.31 amps. It only takes a tiny charger, so the little one is good enough. Laptop in transparent plastic when? Man, I'd love to do that. You know, that's probably achievable with 3D printing as well. That's probably achievable. I think transparent stuff is cool. Like the 2000s look, I think is heckin' awesome. And I'm sad that we don't see that anymore. Especially in this day and age where we could do it all the better. Cool. Right. Prison Tech is transparent. It is. And it looks kind of cool, but it's like, I want the colors as well. I like the colorful stuff that we actually had in the early noughts. CMOS checksum is invalid. Yes, that's because we took the battery out. Wow. Oh, there we go. For a minute I was like, wow, is the viewing angle on this thing that terrible? The answer is yes. Let's get rid of the PLD meter because we're not using that right now. Manufacturer programming mode is in unlock mode. Why? That's a bit weird. Right, I'm just tilting the screen because it's come up with customer username and stuff like that. Looks like this thing has probably had a botched firmware update on it at some point, but... Oh, you know what? I didn't do the thermal paste because the CPU fan has just come on like a banshee, and I didn't do the thermal paste. Yeah, I'll quickly do that. I'm just going to make sure that the keyboard works first. Notepad. Oh my god, there's like 10 Notepad tabs open because modern Notepad. Right. Sphinx of Black Quartz. Judge my vow. Good. Right. Shift letters. Shift letters. Control A. Select all. Backspace. Tab. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Plus. Caps lock. That's good enough. I'll take its word on the rest of it. Good. Right, let's shut that down again. You could use a PE stick for testing. Yeah, I probably should have done that. But also, it's good to know that the laptop actually starts up from the customer's drive as well, I guess. But, yeah. Right. One thing I don't like about these designs is the power button in the keyboard itself. It's kind of weird having it just there as well. Like, it's not even in the top right. It's just there. Like, yeah. Like, I had to do a double take to find it that time, but... Right. Okay. Yeah, let's do the thermal paste while we're here. I'm going to have to come into this laptop later on for that battery, but we'll do the thermal paste just for the sake of stream content. How's my stupid 3D print going? God, it's still on the bottom half. What was I thinking with this thing? Oh, it's painful. It has been going for nearly 6 hours, and it's at 38%. What was I thinking with this design? That's terrible, man. Oh well. Next to delete and above the backspace. Yeah, that is a bit in there, isn't it? Okay. Trying to justify buying a 3D printer. Yeah, well, it's about if you have things that you need to 3D print. You know, like... you do kind of find uses for one once you have one, because once you have a 3D printer, suddenly there are a lot of things where you suddenly think, oh, I could 3D print that, you know, and like, you know, like I use it around the workshop for replacing missing fittings, and like, you know, if I buy a Dell Optiplex and it's missing the hard drive bracket, I can just 3D print a bracket for it, you know. Whenever a computer comes in and like the graphics card needs an anti-sag bracket, I can just print something that fits it perfectly, you know. So they're well worth doing, but they are what you make of them. A lot of people tend to buy 3D printers for the interest in the technology, and I find those people to be rather boring because they are 3D printing parts for their 3D printer. And I'm just like, okay, you know. And that's fine, I guess. But I do sometimes say, like, what else have you made with it, though? And they're like, oh, well, you know, stuff to organize my 3D prints. And I'm like, okay. But yes, especially if you've got a little bit of design now. If you learn just like some basic CAD software and you can make stuff of your own design, that you become extremely powerful. Right. 3D printer is an answer looking for a solution. A solution looking for a problem. But yeah. I think that paste was alright, actually. Yeah. There's not much there. It was probably okay, but we'll make it better. There is my tissue that I was using. Hello. Clean. Right. Where did I put my thermal paste? I don't know how I lose my thermal paste so often. It's a massive tube. But I put it down and it disappears every time. I had it. I've used it already once on this stream. There it is. Oh no! It came out fast. Right, blob of bird poop. Right, you're a mechanical engineer by trade and you've been using Fusion 360 and SolidWorks for design. Oh, that's cool, yeah. I think I think you would probably enjoy a 3D printer. Because, yeah, now you can just prototype stuff that you design. Which is kind of neat. Even if you just end up making a bunch of knickknacks for around the house. Just things to hang keys on. And, you know, just desk organizers and stuff like that. There's something extremely satisfying about designing something in Blender or Fusion 360 or whatever. And then just making it real. You know, like I showed it at the start. It's pretty basic, but like... This is just a box I've made for putting CPU packets in. And, like, this is incredibly basic, obviously. But, like, I designed this on screen, and now the machine is making it real. You know, there's something kind of amazing about just being able to do that in my own workshop. With just only equipment lying around. And it's not even that expensive, the equipment. You know, a basic 3D printer is, like... 300 quid or something like that. You know, it's kind of fantastic that we can now do that. We have the technology. What material are you printing it in? Just PLA. I don't use any fancy stuff. PLA is fine for most everything. I do need to experiment with other materials. I've used ABS a couple of times. Like I've used ABS for things where I need strength, where like strength is actually critical. You know, if the component will fail, if the component must not fail, then I will print it in ABS. But PLA is actually surprisingly tough. I need to experiment with TPU, which I think is the bendy stuff, and also PETG, which is like a halfway point between PLA and ABS. So yeah. You can print blades with a fancy resin printer. Yeah, I've got the resin printer as well. I've still got the Uniformation GK2 that I did. And I've actually been using that again recently. I've been starting that up. That's more for model printing though. That's what I use that for. So yeah. But yes. PLA does not fail and break apart. Like, I've had people say this to me before. I've had people be like, sort of, oh, PLA fails after 6 months. And I'm like, I've been making Slime VR body trackers for like well over a year or two now. Let me just, you know, grab an example. Like, these are cases for body trackers. You know, you put the tracker internals in there, put the cover on, straps onto a limb, and VR games can now track that limb's body position. This is PLA. These do not break. I have printed a lot of these now, and I've had 0 failures. And like same with the strap buckles I use. Again, these are PLA. These ones, you do see some failures for these when they get brutalized, but also like you kind of expect it for this because it's actually holding up tension. So these are going to get busted and I supply spares. But the actual cases and chassis and stuff, they don't break. Like, if I stood on it, sure, but like they don't just explode for no reason, you know. You need ABS. I don't though, because like I said, I've made well over 100 of these and not had a single failure of the case. And like, the buckles that can get broken, ABS would probably be a bit stronger, but I think when those break, it's because they've been bent or trodden on or fallen on, and I'm not sure ABS would help there. So I find it's just better to use PLA and provide spares. But the cases, they don't break. You know, so yeah. Leave it inside your car on a summer day and it will fail miserably. Well, don't leave it inside a car then. Like, yeah, in a surprise to no one, plastic doesn't like being baked in the sun. You know? If you're trying to, you've got to, what's your design spec here? You know? I feel like we're shifting the goalpost now into something that needs to survive impossible scenarios. And I'm like, that's not what it's designed for, man. You know, this is like saying like, oh, glass is fragile. It's like, yeah, don't drop it, idiot. You know. Right. Okay, right. I'm putting this to one side. That battery's got to be replaced. I'm vexed, but such is. Put the old parts in the bag. Right, what am I going to work on now for the last bit? Oh, we're coming up to 2 hours. I kind of don't want that to be the end of it. Oh, yeah, I'll go a little bit longer. I'm going to do a diagnostic, I think. I've got a MacBook that... What's wrong with this MacBook? I think it's no power. Oh, it's liquid damage. Whoops. Okay. I've got a liquid damaged MacBook. Let's have a quick look at that and just see if it's a goer or not. I don't know what to expect from it. We'll just assess it. See if it's an easy win. What am I looking for? I'm looking for serial number ending G5H. Okay. It's a big boy. Where's Carrot Dog today? Monaco, probably. Do you give all the old parts to the customers? Generally no, because they don't want them. But, you know, now and then the customer will be like, oh yeah, can we have the old bits? And I'm like, yeah, sure thing, here you go. Right, this thing is liquid damage, so I'm not going to plug it in straight away. Let's get the back cover off and just see what we're up against. Where's my pentalobe? Off it comes. Something interesting? Car parts are also ABS and household appliances. Yeah, but like car parts and gardening parts need to survive the garden and the road. That's a somewhat different design order, you know. This is like saying that everything metal should be made out of titanium because titanium is strong and other metals will break. It's like, well, what are you making? Does it need to be that strong? Probably not, you know. Come on. Oof. Did you see the dust? Oh, this one's going to be nasty. That's never a good sign. That's never a good sign. I don't know if the camera caught that. Woo, lads. That's a dead skin. God, that's a lot of dust, man. Straight away, I'm not actually seeing any liquid damage anywhere. Of course, it could be on the other side of the board, but... okay, right, let's give this a brush down. Gas, gas, gas. Right. Just brush off the worst of it. Okay. Right. There's still a lot of dust there, but we've just taken all the surface stuff off, so it's a lot more manageable now. One more reason to get a fume extractor. Real. Okay, right. Right, I guess we're going to have to take the board out and look at the other side of it before I try plugging this in. But not like the customer won't have already tried that. Ho-hum. Screw it, let's plug it in, let's see what it does. Alright. Pulled meter. Ugh. 5 volt. That's gonna start. I thought about it. It went to 200 milliamps for a moment. I'm going to plug that into the other side. No, it looks like it's just cycling between 0 and 60 milliamps now. No. Alright, let's take the motherboard out and check the other side, because there might be a hole in the back of it. I'm also just going to disconnect the battery and just check for like a main rail short as well, just to check if we've got anything obvious going on. All right. Is the water residue on the top right hinge? Not really. It's just grime. I mean, it might be a tiny amount, but like I kind of expect to see that kind of grime and a little bit of just... everything has a little bit of residue on it. No laptop is perfectly clean, so that's not... I don't consider that to be a smoking gun. Right, let's turn that around. Okay. Right, let's go. Probably shouldn't have gotten into this because my brain is kind of on, like, my brain is going into tired mode where I'm just like, I don't want to be taking a MacBook apart now. Because, like, I'm trying to think, what screwdrivers do I need? T3. However, I would like to know whether this is... I'd like to know what this is, so when I come in on Tuesday, I at least have an idea of what to expect. Or if it's even just a viable job. Oh, I was going to measure things, wasn't I? quickly do that. Right, do we have multimeter cam? Multimeter cam, activate. And that needs to move up to here. Let's do a very dirty setup on multimeter cam. That'll do. I can't be asked to fix that right now. Right. Ground. And let's do some stabbing. Oh, yeah, here we go. For a moment, I was like, really? 0? Are you sure? 80. Okay. Haven't looked at this particular board number in a while, so I don't know where all the actual spots are. I'm just stabbing large caps at the moment because if you've got anything serious, you're going to find it on those areas. There's the fuses. Yeah, no main rail shorts. I'll just quickly go over. Oh, it looks like OBS just died. Chat, are we alive? Because apparently OBS just dropped and reconnected. Studio says everything is okay, but that's fine. Short buffer and alive. Yep, cool. Thank you. Kiloohms. 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 Yeah. Well, that's low, but we're getting into VCore areas around here. I don't know what these are off the top of my head without pulling up schematics and stuff. Let's just quickly check. Just quickly check over on the NAND rails because that's also a hot spot. That side is okay. And over here, looks like this side is fine. That's ground, I think. Yeah, there's ground and not connected anyway. Yeah, no, I'm not spotting anything super obvious. I'm going to carry on taking the board out and inspecting the other side. This is an 01814A 01814. I have a schematic for this, so, you know, don't ping me. But a lot of the time, I will just take apart and just look first. I'm not super systematic, if I'm honest. I just take things apart, give it a poke, have a look. A lot of the time, a lot of issues are obvious if you actually just look first of all. So, yeah, we'll just work on that. Do you do recording on stream and then send it out on YouTube or no? Almost never. I very rarely stream repairs. That's why you never see me streaming repairs. I generally don't like doing repairs live. However, this afternoon I've just been tinkering with things because, like, the assembly jobs can't go wrong, but like something like this where I need to sit and rattle my brain for a little bit, I generally don't like doing that on live stream because I tend to be slow and ponderous. Whereas like the high skill technicians, they tend to laser in on stuff and be like, check this, there we go, we found the issue, kind of thing. I'm not that fast, so. And occasionally it takes me a while to find something that was then immediately obvious. I wonder if this is upset just because it's full of dust. Like, dust can actually just cause problems, so this thing might just need a good old clean. Does it have lid angle sensors? It does not. I include a sniff test with my visual. I would agree with you were it not for the fact that this thing is full of dust. I am not sniffing this laptop. Like, there are some people who are like, gloves, wear gloves. I'm like, my guy, just wash your hands afterwards. It's not going to kill you. You'll be okay. You'll survive. However, I would not sniff this laptop. So... right. That and that. T5. Oh, I've got to disconnect the display cable as well. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. I've seen every human secretion in a laptop chassis before. I wear gloves. Yeah, I never seem to get the mega gross ones, for which I'm truly thankful. Oh, that doesn't look good. Womp womp. Let's get the microscope. Right, is my capture card going to work? It's been playing silly beggars recently. Let me just get this on shot. Microscope. Reset. There we go. Yeah, womp womp. That's the display connector. So that's where the water has gotten into. So yeah, we've got liquid damage around here. This is the absolute classic MacBook death by water because what we're going to find in here is that's probably touched the backlight rail, which is directly adjacent to CPU data lines. So yeah, 40 volts into the CPU. Good night. Thanks for coming. So yeah, we'll have a quick check just to see. I'm guessing those are all data lines, but yeah. Let me see. Oh, I don't have heckin'... Oh, wait, I think I do have Flexboard View installed. Just check if it's going to pop up licensed. It has? Good. All right, let me just pull up the schematic. Schematics, Apple, right. 01814A. 01814, there we go. Display capture. Where's the... There it is. Right, where is... Backlight? Yeah, backlight is all on 13. And then directly next to it, we have EDP initialize. which goes directly, okay, we've got some kind of mux chip, but yeah, just, oh my god. Apple, please. Apple, I'm begging you. What the hell? So, yeah. Right, let's go back to the microscope for a sec. I'll keep taking it out. Let's, yeah. I'll take the board out, disconnect this display cable. Oh, look at that. Can you see that? That's had, that looks like that's had a short going through that, and it's made the plastic bubble. So yeah, we'll disconnect this display connector and give it some power again. Yeah, but I think it's done. I think we're toast. We'll disconnect this ribbon and see if it powers on without it. If it does, then it might be lucky and it's just this ribbon and probably the display. If it doesn't work with this disconnected, the CPU's probably dead. So yeah. Right, let's go in a little bit deeper. However, yeah, it's not looking good. This is almost certainly a bust. I think we're done, Zoe, but... Right. Right, are we ready? Are we going? We coming out? Oh, get those. We're on our way. We're coming out. Let's go. Coming out, coming out. There we go. Ugh. Other than a lot of grot, I'm amazed that there isn't just a crap ton of just liquid damage stuck in this dust. I'm kind of amazed that that's it, to be honest. Like, this is devastating if liquid gets in this, because all of that dust will just hold the liquid there and rot it out. That's the thing with dust. It's not just the heat and the mankiness of it. Dust holds on to moisture and doesn't allow the moisture to just evaporate away. So it means that a liquid spill is going to be all the more devastating. This has had a replacement board before. This thing's got a warranty sticker on it. So, yeah. Not the first time this thing's had major work done. Alright, let's remove that display connector. Just going to have a quick peek at this. Oh, yeah. So there's the end that was plugged into the board. So you can see where there's been major heat here as well in the top left of that connector. So, yeah. Chances of survival. Oh, hold on. So we can see heat there. Something's gone bang there. What is that? What am I looking at? That is here. 5-volt rail. Huh. Oh, it's not the backlight rail that's gone explode. It's the 5-volt rail. That's whack. Might be okay. Looks like it's shorted to ground. Yeah, quite possibly. Let's take a closer look. Right, hang on a sec. Let me get rid of that. Throw you to one side. Whoops. Sorry, folks. I thought I was on to that view. Come back. There we go. Where's my chat? Whoop. How do you convince buyers to buy your refurb used laptops rather than a new one? Because my refurb ones are cheaper and better than new ones. You've got to spend nearly twice the money to get something that's going to be better. Right, let's bring back the multimeter and let's just resize this a little bit. Alt, that's the one. Okay. Ground check. Ground. It's intact. Like, there's clearly been heat here, but it's not exploded. Huh. Well, I'm going to grab the USB ports out the chassis and we'll put some power on it, I guess, and see if it does anything. Little trooper, maybe. But like, I don't know what to make of this. Like, let's pretend that it's survived. How much of that do we replace out of hand? If any of it. You know. Yeah, USB ports are in surprisingly good condition. For the age of the laptop. All right. And le power. Cable is gone. Yeah, the cable is gone. Yeah, maybe the display. But like on the motherboard, like you can see where there's been hot components there, but they still seem to work. There's 200 milliamps again. Yeah, that's starting. That's main power. Oh, however, something is burning up on my fingers. Something there just started getting real hot because I was pressing the connector down. Do I dare try that again? How much power did it start passing just then? Where's my where's the thing gone? There it is. Yeah, we got up to 3.5 amps just then with no battery. Predator cam, maybe. It wouldn't have powered on though if there was a problem. Dunno, do we try that again? Maybe I'll just stick the hold down on that so I don't have to hold it with my hands and just give it a bit more time. See if it's actually stable or not. The board was starting there though. USB controller chip. No, that was turning on. That looked like it was turning on to me. Let's put this on so I can actually I can go hands free. I don't like the way something got hot there though, but then also I've not, you know, hot to the touch doesn't mean that it's mega hot, because remember, like to the human touch, 50 degrees C is burning. So like just because it got really hot under your finger, that doesn't mean that it's actually on fire. 50 degrees isn't really very hot for components. So it doesn't mean that it's wrecked. Board's already got 1 foot in the grave? Maybe, yeah. Like, Paul Daniels will be doing data recovery only on this. Okay, right, I'm just going to get my thermal camera ready before I try and power it up. Where's my phone? There it is. 3.5 amps is a lot, though. Yeah, you're right. That was way too high considering it wasn't powering a battery. I'm going to get ready to pull the plug again, but let's just see what happens. And I think it was on the back, so I'm just going to do this first. See, now it doesn't look like it's going to start. Maybe I just found the one USB port that worked just then. Either that or that was its last hurrah. There we go. There's 240 milliamps again. Okay, there we go. It's going to start. 1 amp. Yeah, something's getting hot there now. But, like, how hot is hot? That's 30 degrees. That's nothing. It's behaving now. That's on. That's just main power. Those orange spots we're seeing, that's like 30 degrees C. That's just general power. We're not seeing that massive 3.5 amp flare like we had just then. And other side of the board is, yeah, same deal. There's nothing out of the ordinary here. That's just normal. I don't know what the hell that 3.5 amp spike was. Maybe it was because I was holding things down in a weird way and I was just holding it in a very how you doing fashion. So I might have been holding something in a bad way, because now we're seeing what is perfectly normal behavior. That the board has turned on. It's now sitting on the login screen. So yeah. Right, what I think I'll do, I'm going to put the board back in the chassis for a minute, so I can just plug it into the USB ports, and then we can plug in the USB, we can plug in the USB ports one by one and just identify which ports are working and which ports are not. And then also I'll just grab a HDMI adapter and we can just check if it's actually spitting out a signal, which it almost certainly is. Like that current reading there, that's a board that is turned on and is sitting on the login screen. So yeah, I think it's going to work. And yeah, it probably has a dead display, is my guess. The question is if we connected up another display, would that work? And we won't know unless we replace the display and the cable. So that's going to suck to find out. This is an an A1990. What actually is this? MacBook Pro A1990. 2018. Yeah, it's a 2018, so it's just, it begs the question, like, how far are we going with this laptop? Because I've got a horrible feeling that a replacement display for this is going to be hideously expensive. A1990 screen. Okay, pre-owned ones are not that expensive, like to the tune of £130 maximum. I can probably find one for less than 100 if I shop around. So, yeah, if it needs a new screen, that's and the customer doesn't mind a used screen because they already have a used screen on there, then actually that's not too bad. I was half expecting to see like £400 for a replacement screen then, in which case it would have been like, cool, okay, this is data recovery only. So, yeah. Is the internal battery not charging or anything? I don't know. The battery is the least of my concern at this point of the repair. Right now, we've got a busted display, and we don't even know if it can output to a replacement screen. I do not care about the battery right now. That is a consideration, because if the battery was toast, then that would be another thing that it needs. And again, that would add to the spiraling repair bill. However, if it can't output to a display, then the battery is completely academic. So, first though, I'm just going to see if all of the USB ports actually work. Doing this backwards. Oh my days. Okay. Right, it's that side. That's fine, that's fine. Okay. Taking it in and out of the chassis is kind of a ball ache, but... Oh, one more I just missed. Come on. Come on. Oh. Come on. Come on. There we go. I hate this one. It's always the one. Okay, everyone clear? Good. Good. Okay, right. Let's plug everything back in and see what we actually have. Oh, I should have pulled out the other USB ports to check if those were wrecked, because that's kind of important. But let's see what we have right now. All right. I'm going to turn this around so it's actually facing me again. $100 for the display isn't too bad. Yeah. Right. Speaking of HDMI, I'm just going to grab my HDMI adapter. Whoops. Right, I'm just going to YOLO this for a sec and just plug in a HDMI and power adapter and just see if it gives me all the things. Huh. Right. New window. There we go. It might not want to use this adapter right now, so might be pushing my luck there. No. Okay. Probably trying to go too fast. Let's go one step at a time. Okay, right. USB port. That is not giving power. Okay. Other USB port. That looks like it's going to go. Yeah, that's starting. We have fan spin. We have chime. Okay, I'm going to forget the HDMI capture for a second because it chimed, so we know that the computer is actually turned on. Okay, so let's check the other side. Yeah, 200 milliamps, 20 volts, and that's starting. I don't really want to power cycle it like this, but I don't think it really cares too much, to be honest. And I'm going to try this one as well. It looks like we might just have one USB port that doesn't work. And to be honest, the customer probably won't care. Yeah, that's going to go. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to plug the HDMI cable in and see if we have a picture, because that tells me if we're ready for data recovery at least. Did I plug you in? I did. Good. Obviously, we're not going to get a picture on the display. I just want access to the keyboard. Right, transform, reset. Right, I'm just going to make that invisible for a sec, just because when we do get a picture, it's probably going to pop up with the customer name. So, right, I'm going to turn it off and on again. And see if it actually gives us signal output now. Are there screen testers? Not really. Nothing that I'm really aware of. There we go. Right, yeah, we have signal. We've got signal on HDMI. And yes, it has come up with the customer's name. Okay, right. I have a HDMI output here, but it's got the customer's name on it, and it's going to take me ages to figure out a way of obfuscating that, and I can't be bothered. So take my word for it. I have the login screen in front of me on my HDMI capture right now, and the trackpad works, and the keyboard works. So this thing is ready for data recovery at least. So, yeah, the question is, what now? Yeah, I'm going to have a look around in my breaker pile to see if I've got another A1990. This display cable has definitely got to go because it's visibly damaged. I would not plug that back in. So I need to find another display cable. Let's power this off a sec. And let's have another look at that display connector for a moment. Microscope. Let's turn this around. There it is. Right. Let's turn off my thermal camera because we're done with you. You don't need to drain my phone battery. And also I'm just going to put this away before I lose it. Right. Brushy, brushy. After a brush, that doesn't look so bad. Maybe there's just been some arcing there. And it's just got a bit angry, but now the power has been removed, it's maybe okay? Right. Ground. Ground check. Ah. Ground. Okay, right. That's not shorted. Yeah. Just zap around all these test points. It doesn't feel right to try this display, but man, it looks okay. Check ALS 5 volt resistance on the display side. Yeah, what? Let me just check what pin that is. Just trying to find that pin on the pinout. It's not the one that I've already done, is it? I've already checked ALS cam. That was the spicy one. 5 volt ALS cam, yeah. I just checked all the 4 corners, which I'm fairly certain it was that corner one. So yeah, recover the data and then try a new cable. Yeah, I think that's the way forward. I think I'm going to do. I think on Tuesday I'm going to come in and do data recovery on it, and then I will source a new cable, and I might just try a new cable and try our luck. Black is probably from the vaporized trace in the cable. Yeah, I'm astonished that it survived, but it kind of looks like it's survived, to be honest. So yeah, at the very least, I think it seems good enough that it's worth a try. But I will absolutely do data recovery first though, because yeah, if it explodes, then whatever, I guess. Yeah. All right. I think that will do. Tuesday, innit? Right, I think that will do for now. This has been assessed. It's had a miraculous escape by the looks of things. And yeah, I think it's worth trying that display again. It doesn't look like it's got anything screamingly wrong with it. Probably because it was 5 volt. Yeah, the 5 volt rail has got enough to cause issues. It's quite possible that that was 5 volt draw from the laptop side. So the screen itself wasn't the cause. What I think is going on here, coming back in again, what I think is going on here is, I think this is a 5 volt line, and I think there was liquid between this pin and ground, this metal shield, and that caused high current draw through the cable from the 5 volt rail, which has a decent amount of grunt behind it, and that has frazzled the cable and done char damage to here. But the display itself wasn't shorted, which is why this connector itself hasn't melted. So there's a bunch of cosmetic damage here, and the 5 volt line on the motherboard side has got some heat damage to it, but none of it has actually exploded. That's my theory there. So yeah, I think that's why we seem to have this miraculous escape. Whack. However, definitely needs a new display cable. I would not risk plugging this guy in because it might just do funky things. So yeah. When's the Windows rant video coming out? I'm going to be looking at it again this weekend. It's not the next video, but it's on the way. So yeah. Would still not put my faith in the cable. Oh yeah, no. This cable goes in the bin. No questions. I would not plug that cable in. So yeah, I need a new cable, but I'll risk paying. I'll risk a tenner on a new cable and try my luck. But I don't really want to spend £100 on another screen to find out if that's the problem or not. So yeah, right. That's it. I think that's me done for the day. So yeah, data recovery, ultrasonic bath, and cable. Yeah. I agree with that. I think that's the way forward with this thing. And yeah, it looks like it might survive. Cool. Right, I'm going home. Thank you everyone for coming in. Thank you for the super chats today, and I'll see you all soon. As always, if you want to hear more of my stupid voice, I'm playing Hollow Knight Silksong at the moment. So I'll be playing more of that at 7 PM tomorrow UK time. See ya. Yeah, I'll be back. I'll probably be back next week. I want to take a Saturday off at some point soon. B580 video. I want the B580 video out this week. I want to edit that this weekend, but also I need a whole bunch of B-roll footage for it. So we'll see. I would like the B580 video out on Tuesday though, so we'll see. All right, you signed up for a membership because of the YouTube snafu. Thanks a lot, Neil. Much appreciated. So yeah. Maybe YouTube short with the MacBook update. Yeah, I'll let you guys know whether it's in the next live stream or whether this gets a video like. If I fix it and it works, you know, I'll probably edit this into a highlight reel or something. So yeah, this one is kind of interesting enough that I'll let you guys know how it went. So yeah, right. Yeah, my brain is fried. I'm going. Thanks for everything, folks. See you all soon. Bye.